So I used to work at a private practice right when I got out of grad school, and I really resonated with my autism caseload. And I was in South Carolina, so when I moved back home, I was looking for jobs and it just popped up. And it really intrigued me. Getting to work with this population all day long is something that I was really willing to do and really wanted to do. So I applied, and ever since then, I've loved it.
And I started in 2021 at Autism Care Partners as a BT. And at the time, I was still an undergrad. Wasn't sure like speech, OT, where I really wanted to fall. But then just working there and just kind of like the environment and how welcoming everybody was, and just seeing like all of the kids and like the different dynamics really kind of made me like hone in and feel like this is like where I was supposed to be. And then I just continued my journey with ACP, and yeah, I don't see myself working with like any other population right now.
I think one of the most rewarding things is talking to a parent after a child starts really making progress with language, or like the first time they say words or the first time they engage with their siblings and initiate play. Mm-hmm. I love being able to hear the excitement in the parent's voice as they talk about that with me.
I would agree with Maddie, but I also think kind of going off of that, like the excitement in the child, because I feel like you just see that switch for them, and like they just come out of this like shell and they're just like kind of start to just like blossom in a way, and they like know that they have all these new skills now, and they just continue to just like do wonderful things, and like they're always like happy and smiling, and they just have all this like access to things that like they didn't have access to before.
So I think we're really lucky because we use the visual emergence system as our assessment, where it's very much observation based and a lot of interview questions with people that know them best. So I feel like we really get a chance to know our clients really well during the initial assessment, which helps us make that individualized plan based off of the skills that we see and their staff see and their family sees. I just think the visual emergence system format helps us be able to individualize the plans a little bit easier.
It just makes it very easy for like all the plans to be individualized, because it's not standardized in any way, and we can kind of really base it on each child's needs.
I love the surprise party boxes that we have. They are such a cute little toy. You can work on so many different things, whether it's commenting, labeling, directions, asking questions, answering questions. I feel like you can work on so much with just this one item, and the kids love it. It's super silly and it's very colorful and it has numbers. So it keeps them engaged while working on all those goals that might not always be the most fun.
I would say the color sorting crayons is very similar to like the surprise party boxes, but they're just more pieces in each crayon, and it helps really target a lot of goals that you might not be able to target with some other toys. And I think I could do my whole session with just this one toy and target all of the goals that the clients have, because you can really work on like the requesting and labeling and prepositions, and for some of our older kids. And I think it's not something that's just like one specific age group. Like all of the kids love them.
He was here a while ago, but he used a communication device, and he was kind of stuck into saying, I want for everything. And as SLPs, we like to switch up the communication and switch up the word combination. So I worked really closely with his BCBA to put like a formal protocol in place for staff so that they were able to understand how often they should switch up the word combinations. And the client was able to do it so quickly. He was using like 3 or 4 different word combinations to communicate similar things, but he wasn't so stuck in that I want anymore. And it was really cool to see.
I think like the collaboration with BCBAs and treatment coordinators, and even like the BTs, because they're the ones who work with them all day, is super important. And really just like in my sessions, like making sure like specifically the BTs like understand like where this client is at, and collaborating with them helps the carryover skills in this around the center just like so like easy, and like they're able to model so many different things, and then just seeing that client use that skill just outside, like not just in the speech room, and just like generalizing it into the environment is so super important. And I feel like all of our BTs here right now are doing such a great job with that, and all of our clients I think are like such a good point. So it's really nice to like see that they're taking that collaboration and really building on it outside of the speech room.
I feel like my biggest thing I would recommend, because this is something that I struggled with when I first started, was not being afraid to ask questions, because I felt like I didn't want to seem like I didn't know what I was doing. So I didn't ask questions and I just tried to figure it out by myself. But we've all been there. We've all been in the same boat. Everybody's here to help, no matter if it's an SLP or the BCBAs, everyone's here to help you learn and to become better. And I feel like we're constantly learning and growing no matter how long we've been in this field. So I think that's an important piece of advice.
So I only graduated last May, so I feel like I'm still learning a lot of things. And kind of like what Maddie said, I always like was afraid to ask those questions, but this is a field of growth, and so like questions is super important. And I feel like when you graduate, there's like that like weight on your shoulders that like you need to know like everything, which is never really possible because like I said, we're all in different fields and we all leave grad school going to different places. And even in grad school, like one thing I wish I did was like ask more questions to like my professors about like not like class related things, like outside realistic questions, because I feel like sometimes that is like not really put into perspective a lot of the times in certain programs or in certain classes. So really just like if you have those questions, like don't be afraid to ask, because you aren't supposed to know everything, and like the realistic questions are important.